I just recently watched the new installment into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise that was released directly to Netflix in 2022 in February. And I need to get some things off of my chest. So, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. It's an absolute classic in the horror genre. It's scary, it is thrilling, it is gross, and it is fucking awesome. Now, as of the upload date, I haven't seen any of the other films in the franchise, except for this new reboot sequel, which essentially starts up a new timeline in the franchise. Let's just say that I'm going to watch the rest of the franchise this year, and I'm not going to be rewatching this one. This might be just one of the worst, if not the worst movie that I have ever seen in my entire life. I hate this fucking movie. And I won't lie to you, as soon as I saw that this was released directly to Netflix, it was skipping theaters, it wasn't even going to come out, and it was just being directly released onto Netflix. And I know how Netflix horror goes. If it's not directed by Mike Flanagan, it's shit. So I expected to hate this. But I'm not going to deny you that I had high hopes for this, because I didn't, but this movie just shattered my expectations on how bad it actually is. Most movies that are released directly to Netflix are bad enough. Even if they're not awful, they're just meh. Like, you got The Ritual. It's not terrible, it's just meh. But holy fucking shit, this was another level. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's just Texas Chainsaw, one word. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is 83 minutes long, and without credits, it's only 74 minutes long. That was the longest 74 minutes I have ever spent in my entire life. The premise of this movie is that some friends in their early to mid-20s want to start up some businesses in an old abandoned town in Texas. One of the buildings that they bought is apparently still owned by an old woman, even though our main characters say that they legally own it now. Spoiler alert, that's never answered what was going on about who owns it or whatever, but that's besides the fucking point. They tell the old lady to go, she fucking dies. Turns out it was Leatherface's mummy. I think it was Leatherface's mummy. I'm pretty sure it was. So he skins her face, wears it for herself, and then goes and kills all the other guys that just came into town to try rebuild it. I just straight up do not understand what the fuck these guys were doing trying to build life and set up shop a million miles away from everything. But okay. I also have no idea why they tried to write Sally Hardesty into the movie, only for her to get killed and thrown into a literal pile of rubbish. I also have no idea what anyone behind the making of this movie was trying to achieve. I don't understand why the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has 9 movies in the first place, and why people are just like, oh, I need to make another, 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 I need to make another. I'm also going to rip off a Halloween 2018 as well without making this, because it's fucking shit. And this better not become a trilogy like the Halloween 2018, or else I'm going to go smash my head through a wall. This movie succeeds on absolutely nothing. The characters are shallow as fuck and only exist to be killed. The town literally feels like a studio lot. Like, this is the most fake town I've ever seen, aside from the fucking one in Wrong Turn 5 or whatever it was. The dialogue is worse than you could ever imagine. There is one part in this movie where Leatherface is on the bus and he has his chainsaw and he's standing there, and everyone starts getting out their phone and live streaming at the exact same time, and one guy literally goes, "Try anything and you're cancelled, bro."
Try anything and you're cancelled, bro.
The gore in this movie is so over the top that at first I was thinking it might be a bit of a slapstick, kind of like The Evil Dead. But no, it tries to take itself seriously, and the gore just made me laugh. Like, Leatherface literally grabs one guy's wrist, slams it down so the wrist bone is sticking out, and then takes his arm off and then slams it through the other guy to kill him. Like, some people have said that this movie is purposely trying to be comedy or kind of like, self-aware or something like that, but this is, there's no resemblance. Even Scream did self-aware better than this, and that's saying something coming from me. Characters are coming out of nowhere to save the day every 5 minutes. Leatherface gets drowned at the end, only for him to come back in true horror fashion and saw off one of the girls' necks while the other one's sitting at the top roof, bloody sunroof of the car while it's going on autocorrect going, no! There are plot holes just everywhere throughout this movie. Sally, who likes fucking like a sunbaked biscuit in this movie with a blonde wig, is like, I've been waiting 50 years for this very moment. When the Leatherface can't be the same one from the original, because in this movie he's an old woman's son, and the timeline makes no sense because he was already a grown man in the original, and if that means he's still, let's just say he was 24 in the original. Let's just say he was 24. He's a 70-year-old man now, running around with his chainsaw that for some reason was sitting inside of his wall. I don't know how the hell he got it in there, or why he decided to put it in there in the first place, and why it was just sealed up. Just, old people get arthritis. He's running around at like super speed. Oh, oh, Jesus. And then when the credits of this movie rolled, I breathed a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, thank God that is the end. And then I nearly choked on my own spittle because I saw that Fede Alvarez helped write the script of this movie. You know, the guy that did the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe? 2 terrific movies? He also worked on this? It's like the way Shyamalan directed The Sixth Sense and Signs and then did The Happening a few years later. You're like, what the fuck has happened to this man? That's the most depressing thing I've ever seen on screen. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre... No, sorry, not The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets a 0% from me. Name one redeeming feature about this movie. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now that's why it gets a 0 out of 100 from me. Okay. I'll see you later. I hope you liked it. The review, I mean, not the movie, if you can even call that a review. It's just kind of a bit of a hysterical babble for 10 minutes, but that's okay. I'll see you later.